California is famous for sunshine, beaches, and mountains, but beneath that beauty hides a venomous reality. And it all begins with a sound you'd never want to hear on a quiet trail: the rattle. The western diamondback rattlesnake is one of California's most widespread and feared reptiles. Stretching up to 7 feet long, it blends almost perfectly into desert brush and rocky outcrops. You could walk right past one without realizing it, until it makes its presence known. That rapid-fire rattle is more than a warning, it's a countdown. This snake's venom is hemotoxic. That means it destroys red blood cells and tissue, causing swelling, internal bleeding, and, if untreated, death. A single bite can deliver enough venom to kill a human. Compare that with your reaction time. A rattlesnake can strike in less than 1/10 of a second. Quicker than you can blink, its fangs are already in. Your only real defense? Stay alert, stay on the trail, and listen for the sound that could save your life. But danger in California doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it hides in the corners of sheds, garages, and woodpiles. The black widow spider is a creature most people know by sight. Jet black, with a bright red hourglass painted on its abdomen. Small, no bigger than a paperclip, yet legendary for its venom. Ounce for ounce, the black widow's venom is about 15 times stronger than a rattlesnake's. The difference is in dosage. This spider injects only a small amount. Still, its bite can cause muscle cramps so severe that victims describe it as waves of fire rolling through their body. In healthy adults, death is rare, but children, the elderly, or those without quick medical care are far more at risk. Two animals. One rattles, one waits in silence. Both prove a chilling truth. In California, even the smallest encounters can become life-threatening. Step off the dusty trail and into the Pacific, and the dangers don't disappear, they just change shape. California's coastline is one of the most biodiverse stretches of ocean in the world, but it's also home to predators that define the word apex. The most iconic, the great white shark. These giants patrol the waters from San Diego to Northern California, especially near seal rookeries where food is abundant. Reaching lengths of 20 feet and weighing more than 5,000 pounds, they are the largest predatory fish alive today. And unlike many marine predators, great whites rely on surprise. With powerful tails, they can launch themselves upward at over 25 miles per hour, breaching the surface in a violent explosion of teeth and water. You would never see it coming. One moment, calm blue water. The next, a blur of white belly and rows of serrated teeth wider than your head. Globally, great whites are responsible for more shark attacks on humans than any other species. And while fatal encounters are rare, California consistently ranks among the top hotspots for these incidents. For anyone swimming, surfing, or diving here, the question isn't whether sharks are near, it's how close. But size isn't everything in the ocean. Some of the most dangerous killers are nearly invisible against the sand. Rare in California, but not impossible to encounter, the blue-ringed octopus is a creature no bigger than a golf ball. At first glance, it looks harmless, even beautiful, with neon blue rings glowing across its skin. But those rings are a warning sign. The brighter they glow, the closer it is to striking. Inside this tiny body lies one of the most lethal venoms on Earth, tetrodotoxin. Just a drop can paralyze muscles, including the ones that let you breathe. Victims can remain fully conscious while their body shuts down. Without immediate medical help, death can occur within minutes. Two predators, two extremes. One is massive, built for raw power. The other is small, armed with a chemical weapon no human could fight off. Together, they remind us that in California's waters, danger can come from above or below, from giants or from creatures small enough to fit in the palm of your hand. Step back onto land, and California's wilderness greets you with more than trees and trails. Here, the predators don't rely on venom or the cover of water. They rely on stealth, patience, and the raw instincts of a hunter. At the top of that list is the mountain lion, also called the cougar. These cats roam across much of California, silent shadows that blend into brush and cliffs. An adult can weigh over 150 pounds and leap more than 20 feet in a single bound. They stalk quietly, trailing hikers, joggers, or deer without making a sound. And when the moment comes, their strike is explosive. jaws clamping down with enough force to crush bone. Attacks on humans are rare, but they do happen, usually when the cat feels threatened or when prey is scarce. If you ever feel like you're being watched on a lonely trail, there's a good chance you are. But the mountain lion isn't the only feline predator here. California is also home to the bobcat. Smaller, rarely exceeding 40 pounds, it doesn't command the same fear. Still, don't mistake size for safety. With razor-sharp claws and a powerful bite, a cornered bobcat can turn into a flurry of teeth and fury. They're skilled hunters of rabbits, rodents, and even deer fawns, and they've been known to threaten pets and livestock. The real danger with bobcats isn't that they seek out humans, but that they're unpredictable when trapped or protecting their young. One wrong move, and an encounter could escalate fast. From the silent stalk of the mountain lion to the sudden ferocity of the bobcat, California's hunters show that danger isn't always loud or obvious. Sometimes it's a whisper of movement in the brush or the flick of a tail just before the strike. Not every threat in California is built for stealth. Some are giants relying on raw power to dominate the forests and hills. These aren't predators in the traditional sense, but if you cross them at the wrong time, strength alone makes them some of the most dangerous animals in the state. The black bear is California's largest land mammal, with adults often tipping the scales at over 600 pounds. Despite the name, their coats can be brown, cinnamon, or even blonde, making them easy to mistake for other wildlife at a distance. Black bears are omnivores, feeding mostly on plants, berries, and insects, but they won't hesitate to raid campsites or trash bins in search of food. That's where the danger begins. A bear protecting a food source, or worse, her cubs, can turn aggressive in an instant. They can sprint at speeds over 30 miles per hour, faster than an Olympic sprinter, and climb trees with ease. Outrunning or outclimbing isn't an option. The only real defense is to avoid surprising one in the first place. But black bears aren't the only muscular danger. Lurking in the underbrush and open fields, wild boars have carved out a fearsome reputation. These animals aren't native, they're invasive, but their presence is undeniable. Weighing between 200 and 300 pounds, with sharp tusks that can slice through flesh, wild boars have little fear of people. When threatened or cornered, they don't retreat, they charge. A wild boar can reach you at over 30 miles per hour, slamming with brute force and slashing with tusks built like knives. They travel in groups too, meaning one sighting could quickly turn into a dangerous encounter with several. Beyond the risk to humans, they also devastate crops, tear up landscapes, and disrupt natural ecosystems. From the towering power of the black bear to the relentless aggression of wild boars, these giants remind you that in California's wilderness, size can be its own kind of weapon. You might hear them long before you see them, but once they decide to stand their ground, there's little you can do to stop them. The biggest dangers in California aren't always the ones that tower over you. Sometimes they're small, nearly invisible until it's too late. These are the threats that hide in shoes, prowl the edges of neighborhoods, or slip silently into the dark. Take the Arizona bark scorpion. Most scorpions in California deliver painful but non-lethal stings. This one is different. Found in the southern deserts, it carries venom that can overwhelm the nervous system. The sting begins with burning pain, but it doesn't stop there. Victims often experience numbness, muscle twitching, and in severe cases, difficulty breathing. Children are especially vulnerable. What makes them so dangerous is how easily they blend into the environment. At night, they creep through dry brush, under rocks, or even into homes. Imagine sliding on a shoe in the morning and feeling the sharp strike of a hidden stinger. That's the risk these scorpions bring. Then there are coyotes. On their own, they seem unthreatening, slipping through fields and neighborhoods like shadows. But coyotes are survivors. They adapt, they learn, and when food is scarce, they take risks. Usually they hunt rabbits or rodents, but they've been known to snatch pets right from backyards. In rare cases, desperate or bold coyotes have attacked people, often children. The danger grows when they travel in packs. Together, they become more aggressive, testing boundaries and pushing closer to human homes. It's easy to dismiss coyotes as shy or harmless, but their ability to thrive in both wilderness and city makes them unpredictable. You might spot one on a quiet hike or outside your window. From the sting of a hidden scorpion to the cunning of a coyote, California's dangers aren't always loud or obvious. They're the threats that wait, unseen, until you let your guard down. And in a state this wild, you're never too far from a reminder that nature plays by its own rules.